let's talk about being sold out. Because right now, our personal data is being sold to the highest bidder, and the very tools we trust are being turned against us. This week, we're diving deep into what it really means to be sold out in this digital age.
And as we were putting these stories together, one thing became crystal clear. Artificial intelligence is now the engine driving almost everything we talk about. It's not just part of the story anymore, it pretty much is the story.
So we're making a change. From today, this is the AI, Privacy, and Security Weekly Update. And look, this isn't just slapping a new label on it. It's about facing the new reality we're all living in. So let's get into why this matters so much right now.
To get a sense of just how massive this shift is, check out this prediction from Cloudflare's CEO. He's saying that in just a few years, AI bots are going to be creating more traffic on the internet than all of us humans combined. I mean, think about it. If you want to buy something, you might visit, 10, maybe a dozen websites? An AI agent could scan thousands of sites for the best deal in a matter of seconds. That sheer volume is completely reshaping the internet as we know it.
Okay, so this new era brings some pretty big new challenges, and it starts with surveillance. We're seeing this huge consolidation of data, not just by companies, but by governments, creating these incredibly powerful new ways to watch all of us from the top down.
And that leads to this really critical question, one that gets right to the heart of the matter. How is it possible for an agency like the FBI to track American citizens without having to go to a judge and get a warrant? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple. They just buy the data.
And this just lays out the loophole perfectly. On one side, you've got the constitutional way, getting a warrant, which requires probable cause. On the other side, a simple credit card transaction. The FBI director himself recently confirmed they are buying our location data from data brokers. Yeah, the same data that apps on your phone are collecting. It's basically a legal end run around your Fourth Amendment rights.
And all this data they're buying, it feeds into a much, much bigger and frankly more alarming vision. We've seen documents that reveal a plan for a massive AI-searchable government database. We're talking about combining everything, official records, commercial data, biometrics, you name it. It would allow agencies to build these incredibly detailed profiles on pretty much anyone at an unbelievable scale.
But let's be super clear here. It is not just the government. The corporate world is building its own giant databases on all of us. New research shows that those little tracking pixels from companies like TikTok and Meta are doing way more than just serving you ads. They are scraping sensitive data right off of checkout pages. We're talking your email, your phone number, exactly what you're buying, and it's often happening before you've even had a chance to click I agree.
So that's the threat coming from the top down. But at the exact same time, there's a whole different kind of threat that's bubbling up from the bottom up. This is where the very code that builds our digital world is being turned into a weapon against us.
Now, to really get this threat, we need to talk about something called self-propagating malware. This is not your average computer virus. It's designed to spread all on its own, kind of like a biological virus, turning every single infected computer into a new launchpad for more attacks.
And that is exactly what happened with the recent Trivi supply chain attack. So here's how it went down. Attackers compromised a popular tool that developers use, used it to steal their credentials, and then they unleashed this thing called canister worm. This malware then used those stolen credentials to automatically inject itself into other software packages. It creates this vicious, self-sustaining cycle of infection.
And the threat isn't just hiding in some obscure developer tool. It can come from software you would never ever suspect. A new report alleges that H&R Block's tax software was installing its own root certificate on users' computers. Think of this as a master key to your system security, a trust bomb that could trick your computer into trusting fake websites or malicious code. And the craziest part, this certificate isn't set to expire until 2049, potentially leaving a massive security hole open for decades to come.
You know, these digital threats, they don't just stay digital anymore. They are increasingly crossing over into our physical lives. They're targeting the devices right inside our homes and the essential services we count on every single day.
Take your home router, for instance. As you can see here, a huge chunk of the US market is controlled by foreign manufacturers. Citing some pretty serious security risks, the FCC just banned the import of new models, declaring them a potential threat to our critical infrastructure. Yeah, that little blinking box in your living room? It's now officially on the national security front line.
And for a really immediate, kind of shocking example, just look at what happened to customers of Intoxilock. They make car breathalyzers. Well, the company got hit with a cyber attack and their systems went down. Because the devices in the cars needed to connect to those servers, drivers found themselves literally stranded. Their cars were turned into giant, useless paperweights.
Okay, so we've looked at the threats coming from the top down and the threats bubbling up from the bottom up. And I know it can feel like a lot, but you are not powerless here. So let's walk through some clear, actionable steps you can take to protect yourself in this new era.
All right, here's the game plan. First, vet your software. After hearing that H&R Block story, you got to be skeptical of any app that wants deep system access. Second, secure your router. That FCC ban is a major wake-up call to choose reputable brands that actually get updated. Third, limit your data sharing. We now know those ad pixels are grabbing way more than you think. Fourth, use privacy tools. Mozilla is even rolling out a free VPN in Firefox, so turn those things on. And finally, understand the cloud. As we saw with the trivia attack, the shared code libraries that everyone uses are now a huge target.
Now, while we're taking all these protective steps, there is some real hope on the horizon for better, built-in solutions. There's this technology called fully homomorphic encryption, or FHE. Basically, it would let companies process our data while it stays completely encrypted. It's been way too slow to be practical, but a new chip from Intel called Heracles has shown speed improvements of up to 5,000 times. This could make privacy by design a real possibility, not just a dream.
So, this all brings us to one last question. In a world where our data is a product to be sold and our software can literally be a weapon, who is ultimately responsible for keeping us safe? Is it the companies, the government, or at the end of the day, is it really up to each and every one of us? That's something to think about as we try to navigate this new AI era. Thanks for joining the update.